Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Weston Boucher, and I'm a model and a menswear line owner out of Southern California. If you haven't already, please do click that subscribe button and click alerts. That way you know the second any of my new videos go live. All right, so today I'm going to talk about the 5 things I wish I would have stopped sooner or wish I had never done altogether. All right, so it's about to get real. Number 1, watching porn. Do I have your attention? So I wrote some things down. Obviously, with every video I do, I kind of do an outline and I just kind of brain dump a little bit, so bear with me. I just want to articulate it really well because these are subjects that are pretty big, obviously. So, you know, in my experience, it has never improved my relationships. I'm not here to judge. I'm telling you, again, these are things from my personal experience. But you know, for me, it's only created distance between me and the person I'm with. It's, you know, ultimately kind of a drug, and that's the draw of it because it's just this temporary high, right? And you just keep chasing it, and you always need more. But you know, I was thinking about it, and it's like, it's not like it's a product or something like alcohol. These are actual human beings, you know, and then we're kind of consuming them virtually, which is kind of trippy. So, you know, I got to the point where I just personally didn't want to contribute to that industry anymore. And obviously I know that adults consent to doing these things. I realize that. But I've learned things, and even from people, it kind of hits close to home, I should say, in certain ways, with some people that are in my life and what's happened to them in the past. And some of the people that are involved in that industry get lured by drugs or money, or they're just really young and they don't have the wisdom to know, you know, the damage it might be doing to them when they come out on the other side of it. So again, I'm not trying to place judgment on you guys. I'm just saying, in my experience, these are some of the things I've wrestled with and some of the things that I think are negative about it in terms of how it's impacted my life. Again, you do you, and I'm going to try to just help relay things that are, you know, relevant to my life, I guess. You know, some other things I thought about it with porn is that, you know, it's taken me years to undo the damage that porn has caused in my life. And it's not like I had some crazy addiction, but I can say that, you know, after, you know, spending time talking about it in therapy as one of the topics that I've covered, is that it warped my view of what real intimacy looks like. There's debate about that, what that might be for you might look different. But for me, I just don't think that it is the same thing as, you know, lust has its place, and intimacy and closeness, they all kind of relate to each other. But, you know, I feel like there's a clearer picture when I don't have that outside source of fantasy diluting, you know, what the present intimacy can be like with the human being that's like right in front of me in my life, you know, my partner at the time. So, you know, I've found that, you know, it was kind of a solo act in an isolated way, and so they weren't really ever part of it. And I also never really wanted to personally bridge the gap of like watching porn together and doing all that stuff. It's just not for me. And again, not judging if that's something you do, but you know, maybe something about my perspective today will shed different light on it for you. I just want to help, and my intentions are good. So please do hear that from me. So anyways, what I've tried to do is to just channel that energy, you know, sexual desire and my attractions towards my partner, you know, that when I channel it there, I've found that it's proven to be the most positive thing for my relationships. And I hope that's helpful for you guys. And again, not judging. All right, moving right along. Number 2, things I wish I would have stopped sooner or never done. Saying hurtful things to someone in a moment of anger. We've all been there, right? I always had trouble with anger and temper, like as a young a teenager, I should say, and I chilled out more over the years, but it's always kind of lurking there, and I can just get to a point where whether I'm pushed there or I push myself there, to where I just start speaking freely and it feels so justified in the moment, because I'm lashing out typically because I feel like I need to defend myself in that moment. But when I've looked back at every time I've ever done that, I can clearly see that I'm totally overcompensating for either my own insecurity or just something I'm projecting on that person in that moment. And the thing is a lot of that can never be undone. And that damage that I caused someone else is a huge regret, because it's not like one of those things where, people say, oh, I have no regrets in life. Well, I don't think that's just a one-size-fits-all thing. If you think about things that you've done that impacted other people, you could give someone a complex the rest of their life, or you could make someone just feel an immense amount of pain, and they have to carry that with them. And then I, in turn, have to carry it for those things that I've done and things that I've said in anger. So that is definitely something that, I've tried to work on. And to, through therapy, I've learned that like a healthier thing, obviously, is when you feel that boiling up inside of you, to just try to practice self-awareness and realize, like, as much as I really want to unleash right now, I just need to like breathe for a minute, walk in the other room. Don't say I'm walking away from you or whatever. Just say I just need a minute. I just need to cool down, and like, let's talk about this in a minute. And then furthermore, what's been super helpful for me is that, looking at things like, rather than saying like, you do this and you are this, that is not a conversation starter typically. It's an attack. Versus saying, when you say or do this, it makes me feel like this or that. It's a huge distinction, and it seems so simple, but if I had done that from a young age, oh my God, the amount of like difficulty and challenge and pain that I've caused, myself and others, it would be just a dramatic difference. And I think that's just really hard for us to practice that, because a lot of people that we do feel like we can express ourselves comfortably with in that way, we take advantage of that comfort and we speak a little too freely. I'm saying this from personal experience, and please do let me know if you've kind of struggled with that as well. So hopefully that is helpful. Okay, number 3, wasting my time not being my true self to please others. So you feel me on that? With my channel and everything, you might think, oh, he seems like he's got his act together to some degree. He offers advice in these different areas and stuff and seems relatively confident. Yeah, sort of. It's something that we all have like a threshold, right? Or I guess like it's all relative to wherever we're at in life, what our standards are, where we want to be. And I do try to be as genuine as possible all the time. But even, on my channel, I can't be entirely my true self yet. I'm still working on that. So this is kind of one where like I've come a long way, but I'm still always working on that. I think that, over the years, I've made big and small decisions because I really, or acted differently in certain situations because I wanted to be accepted, I wanted to be liked, wanted to be loved, the story of humanity, like that's most people's thing, right? Like whether you realize it or not, most people have a really hard time being their full, true, authentic self because it's uncomfortable, right? Like it's difficult to just say what you really think, and to have the ability to articulate it where you're not gonna like really offend somebody or just go too far, I should say. Because I do think that we should be more open, more vocal, more real with each other. And I'm personally annoyed with the way our culture and society is now with the offended generation that exists right now, because it just creates a barrier where we're all just kind of like putting on a face, and myself included. I have held back, I will admit that, in a lot of ways in social media and beyond, because I just can't, it's like I feel like I'm walking on eggshells, right? So, maybe we can all kind of like work together to be a little bit more authentic and risk, offending people if we obviously do it from a place of love, or at least trying to understand the other person so that we can be our true selves and be like, this is how I really feel and this is where I'm really at. And maybe it's not a great place, or the thing I'm saying isn't that great, and I get some backlash. Okay, I'll take that in, and I will try to listen to that perspective, and maybe I will change my mind. But I think that would be a better scenario than, again, how much time I wasted over my lifetime just trying to feel accepted by other people when I should have just kept doing my own thing. Because ultimately, if you stand for like nothing, you know, or I should say, what is the saying? Ugh, I feel like I'm totally brain farting right now, but you got to stand for something or you'll stand for nothing. I think that's what it is. I could be wrong. I'm just rambling here, but and that's true because if I'm gonna have an audience, right, that relates to me, or you're gonna have people in your life that relate to you, connect with you, you need to stand for something because, you know, not everyone is wired the same. We are all uniquely created. So hopefully that's also helpful. Oh, I had lost track rambling, but there were just two quick things I wanted to add to that, which are, you know, we need to realize our value kind of regardless of what, you know, others think, obviously. And then living genuinely is kind of the biggest favor you can do for yourself and for others, because otherwise, you know, you're being fake and you're kind of suppressing your true feelings, which you will usually like cause resentment, you know, in relationships and things. And you're also robbing other people of experiencing like the reality, like how it really is. Okay, moving right along. Number 4. This is a big one. Spending energy and time trying to chase someone you love. Have you guys been there? I know I have. In multiple love relationships in my life, I'm 40, so and it just happens, you know. I've experienced massive amounts of like gut-wrenching heartbreak, pain, and anxiety in those seasons. Like I can think back and think of how dark I felt, how sad, just how heartbroken I felt. I'm a type of guy who just feels things at a really deep level, and I'm not saying that, you know, you don't, but some of us guys are just feel a little bit more. Like sometimes I wish I was just a little bit, not more like harsh, but I just wish I could just be like, well, whatever, see ya. But I'm just not like that. So anyways, you know, there's just a lot in that where I prolonged and, you know, could have avoided to some degree, but all that heartbreak and whatnot, but I persisted. And I recognize like that at certain points, you know, in a relationship, there is a reason to fight, right? Like there is a reason to chase that person, to fight for them if you love them and you really believe in them and you guys together. But at a certain point, you have to recognize when it's not a healthy kind of typical scenario for relationship challenges, when it switches over to toxic. That's a big distinction that I couldn't see because I was blinded by love in the moment. And when you're in it that thick, you really can't, you don't have perspective. It's just not there because you're inside it. You're not up over it, you know, from like that view of someone who's outside of it entirely. And so, you know, what I'm trying to say is, again, know your worth and lovingly distance yourself with boundaries and focus on things that you love, then that'll give you confidence. Those are the things that I wish I had never done, is that I just did the opposite of that. I just kept trying to win them over, win them back, keep them in the picture, and I should have just let go. And, you know, ultimately, if they truly love you or they truly loved me, and, you know, we had both spoken our piece and our desires, then, you know, they would respond and act accordingly, so would I, you know, and you would just get an answer much quicker versus like complicating it and making it harder on both people, because it's like you can only control you, I can only control me, and they can only control themselves. And, you know, that was my bad in a lot of those situations, and I should have just recognized it and given space to the situation, because I just overcomplicated it and I caused myself a ton of pain. And of course, a lot of those things make you who you are. And, you know, again, we could go back to I have no regrets, but I do have regrets in that way, because I wasted years of my life that I could have put that energy into making a more whole, healthy version of me for maybe another relationship, or, you know, things could have gone differently in certain ways, and that's fine. But it's not that I have regret about. It's just that I think that I went too far in trying to, like, I mean, you're just beating a dead horse or whatever. So hopefully that speaks to you wherever you're at in your life, and you can make peace with that if it's behind you or whatever. All right, we're at the end. Number 5. I wish I'd never bought Bitcoin or crypto. Sorry, I had to lighten the mood of this video. I mean, it's just some heavy topics, and but it's true, kind of. I mean, we'll see. Like, maybe it'll spike again at some point, and I'll at least make some of my money back or more. You never know. all the stuff going on with COVID and where the world's at right now, it's crazy. Stranger things, you know, can happen. So yeah, anyways, hopefully those previous 4 were more valuable to you than that last one. But maybe you've had a bad experience with crypto and or a good one. You want to comment below. But in all seriousness, I would love to hear kind of what, you know, have been the biggest things in your life that, you know, you feel like you wish you wouldn't have done, or maybe some actual regrets that you kind of want to just voice. I'd love to hear it. It'd be cool if you're willing to share that with me and others. But yeah, that is about it. Oh, before you go, make sure you grab my free e-guides, how to eat, train, and supplement like a cover model, and my top 10 Instagram growth tips for models, influencers, and public figures. Geez, what else? Please do check out my new menswear line, Weston Boucher. A lot of things are out of stock right now, but that might not be the case by the time you watch this video or in the near future. And let's see what else. Yeah, that's about it. Please do subscribe. I'm going to try to bust out more videos, as with all of this coronavirus stuff going on, I do have more time than I usually do because a lot of other things are on hold. So yeah, it's been crazy. It's been a challenging time. I'm adapting. I hope that you guys are too. I hope that you're healthy, your friends, family, and everyone is okay. And yeah, let's just try to unify in this time and get past this as a people. But thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys next time.